Let's set the scene for your average everyday office job. You wake up, it's 6:30 a.m., you get out of bed and start to get ready for the day. You leave the house to start your hour-long commute into the city, and you get to the office at 8:30 to begin your day of work. All day you're tired, stressed, and your coworkers won't stop distracting you. You need a break, but you can't really take one. I mean, what are you gonna do? Get up and just walk around the office? You count down the hours until the end of the day until you can leave and begin your hour-long commute again on your way home. When you finally get home, you get to enjoy just a little bit of time for relaxation before going to bed exhausted, knowing that you have to do the exact same thing tomorrow. This doesn't sound too great, does it? But let's imagine another scenario. You wake up, it's 8 a.m. You're feeling well rested. You get ready and then walk over to your home office to start the workday. You can do your work on your own schedule, and you're actually more productive because you have less distractions. At any time, you can take a break, maybe go for a walk around the park, or do some home yoga. You finish your work and have plenty of time to relax and spend time with your family and friends. I'm guessing that if you clicked on this video, then you're liking the sound of the second scenario much better. I've started working from home in the last year or so, and I can honestly say that I'm never going to go back to an in-person job again. There are just so many benefits from working from home, and it really works a lot better with my lifestyle. If you're looking for your dream work from home job, then one thing that might be hurting your chances is lack of work experience. So today, I'm going to cover 13 work-from-home jobs that don't require a college degree or much experience. And none of the jobs that I'm going to mention today are going to be these boring, mind-numbing jobs like completing surveys, data entry, customer service, or anything like that. I also made sure that my list has something for everyone. Some of these jobs don't require any experience but still pay relatively well. And then other jobs on my list are actually careers that you can get into that can lead to six-figure salaries. But these ones, of course, will require a higher skill set, but you can learn these skills relatively easily online. So let's get into it. The first high-paying work-from-home job on my list is project coordinator. This is actually the job that I have currently and that I've kind of just started into right after I graduated college, but the starting salary for this position is like 50 to 60K. So as a project coordinator, you basically take care of the different projects that your company gets from the clients that they have. This includes things like making budgets for projects, maintaining those budgets to make sure we don't go over, and also just making sure that the client relations are staying good. This is a really solid job to have, and it leads to a really good long-term career that has a lot of growth potential in it. In order to land one of these jobs, it is probably best that you do develop some sort of experience relative to the field. This doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go out and find a job related to it though. There's actually a certification you can get from the Project Management Institute called the CAPM certification. This certification consists of 23 hours of training plus an online exam. The training plus exam does total about $700, but it's well worth it for the career you can get from it. And quite honestly, if you do land a job as a project coordinator and you do a good job in that role, you can easily be making six figures in several years. The next work from home job on my list is social media coordinator. The average starting salary for this position is $40,000 to $50,000. Social media coordinators are responsible for tasks such as planning and scheduling content across platforms, creating copy and graphics for posts, engaging with the audiences on social platforms through responding to comments and answering questions or DMs that might come through, and monitoring the performance of these socials, which then leads to brainstorming new ideas and implementing new social campaigns. With virtually every business trying to grow their social presence, this is a job that's in quite high demand most of the time, honestly. And it can be quite a fun job if you're working for the right company. And this is another one of those jobs with fantastic career growth potential. And you can make well over $100,000 in a higher level social media manager position at a large company. The third job on my list is an executive assistant. The average entry-level salary for this position is around $40,000, whereas if you have more experience, it can get upwards to $70,000. Executive assistants are responsible for managing the schedules and communications of company executives. Duties include prioritizing emails and phone calls, gathering documents for meetings, and coordinating travel arrangements. To give you a little more context for this job, I went on LinkedIn and found this job description for a remote executive assistant position for a media company based in LA. The description says that you would be assisting 2 vice presidents at the company with organizing meetings and communicating with clients and other teams. The skills and experience requirements are also very minimal, mostly just soft skills like being a self-starter and communication. The only hard skills I see are Google Suite and Microsoft Office, which most people either know or can learn pretty easily through YouTube videos. Okay, so moving on to the fourth job on my list, which is sales. The salary range for this one is of course very large because it really just depends on how successful you are at selling your company's product. You can make anywhere from $30,000 up to hundreds of thousands of dollars if you're the best in your company. From my research, I found that most positions will offer a lower base salary plus commissions, which is supposed to make up the majority of your income. And let me first just clear up a big misconception that people have about sales job and salespeople in general. First of all, I know that salesman does not bring the best picture of a person into our head, and I honestly should know best. When I first went to college, I went on a date with a guy that did summer sales. One of the first things he told me when he picked me up for the date was that from one summer of selling, he made enough money to buy a new car in all cash. Which it wasn't even like a super nice car, it was kind of just more of a mom car, but like it was still impressive. So he took me to this restaurant and we were eating our food, and he was a bit weird, but it was okay at that point. It wasn't like anything to scare me off properly. But then about halfway through our meal, it really got weird and he started acting exactly the way that I would expect a salesman to act. You know that scene in Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah, he started doing that in front of the entire restaurant, and not quietly, with the bird squawks and everything. And I didn't know what to do because I wasn't about to join in, so I was just kind of laughing awkwardly and just eating my food and hoping he would stop. But yeah, anyways, after that, we did not end up going on a second date, but that is what I think of when I think of salesmen. But my point is, since then, I've met loads of people that have done sales as well, and none of them are quite as weird as that, so I really think that that traditional salesman picture is just an outlier. And after talking to all these salespeople that I ended up meeting, I did learn that sales is lots more than just cold calling people all day. You really don't have to be cold calling like 300 people a day in order to do well in sales. Most good sales positions that you'll find are business to business sales. So you're selling your company's products to other businesses that will actually benefit from it, instead of selling to individuals that are more likely to get angry at you for calling them randomly. That being said, this job is definitely not for everyone. For me personally, sales is one of the absolute worst jobs I can imagine. But that's just honestly my personality type. It just doesn't fall within the salesperson category. But if you're extroverted or even very extroverted, then this job could be perfect for you because of the high earning potential. The next job I have for you today is teaching English. The salary for this position is around $45,000 to $50,000 for full-time work. And you don't usually need to know complex grammar rules like when to use a semicolon versus a comma and things like that. Most online English teaching jobs are actually for students where English isn't their native language. So this job is more like teaching basic English speaking. For example, I found this job on LinkedIn for an English tutor. The job is remote and lessons are held virtually on Google Meet, where you'll have an hour-long conversation with students from the Middle East on topics such as food and travel. Okay, so now moving on to the sixth and seventh job on my list, which is graphic designer and video editor. I decided to lump these two together because they are pretty similar. The entry-level salary for these positions is around $35,000 to $50,000. It can really vary quite a bit. What graphic designers do is design basically any visuals that a company might need. These include logos, product packaging, infographics, and social media images. And video editors work with content creation teams to turn raw camera footage into great-looking videos. You definitely don't need a degree or previous professional experience working in these positions in order to land an entry-level position. However, what you will need is a strong portfolio and expertise working in softwares like Adobe Creative Suite for graphic designers and Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro for video editors. These softwares are really easy to learn through YouTube videos and through practice. And there are so many good courses for like $10 on Udemy that will teach you how to use them at a higher level. Overall, these two jobs are really good for you if you have a creative eye, and you can really forge a whole career out of it and have the potential of making a high amount of income as you get more experience. The next job I wanted to talk about is joining the NBA. That's right, I'm talking about the National Bookkeepers Association. At the entry level, bookkeepers make around $30,000 to $45,000. Bookkeepers handle an organization's general ledger by recording transactions, producing financial statements, and checking financial records for accuracy. Employers will most of the time want bookkeepers to have some sort of after high school education, but you still don't need to have much experience, and they will give you a lot of on-the-job training. And if you're serious about becoming a bookkeeper, then you can really increase your chances of finding a high-paying bookkeeping job by getting the Bookkeeper certification, which is accredited by the National Bookkeepers Association. This involves taking an accounting fundamentals course and then passing an exam all online. And this all costs under $1,000. The next job I want to cover is a really interesting one because you literally don't need any experience to get one of these jobs. I'm talking about becoming a virtual assistant. The position will usually pay hourly and the average rate is $16 per hour. The responsibilities of a virtual assistant will vary considerably, but in general, you're handling the easy day-to-day tasks of a business. The pros of becoming a virtual assistant is that the job is usually very flexible with working on your own schedule. And another pro is that you really don't need any experience. But there are some cons. One being that this job is usually paid on an hourly basis. So your employer will usually not offer health insurance, a retirement plan, and other benefits. It's also not the type of career that can make you substantially more money the more experience that you get. So your pay is usually capped on the lower side regardless of if you have much experience. And the 10th high-paying work-from-home job I wanted to talk about is transcribing. The average starting salary for this position is about $35,000 a year. And with more experience, this can increase up to around $70,000 a year. Transcribing is the process of listening to an audio recording and then writing down what was said on your computer. Some businesses that are in need of transcription services are those in the medical industry, police or legal depositions, and reality TV interviews. You will need to be quite proficient at typing to get this type of job, since the application for most transcription companies will involve a test for your typing and accuracy. So overall, this is a really good job for someone with no professional experience, who uses a computer often and can type fairly quickly. Okay, now moving on to the 11th job on my list, which is content writing. The salary is around $50,000 a year for this job. Content writers create longer form text, and companies hire them to educate, inform, or increase brand awareness and drive traffic to their website. I found a really cool work from home content writing job for Forbes magazine. The job description says that you would be writing a minimum of 6 stories a week in the home and kitchen space. And the type of content includes writing things like best lists, reviews, and news stories. So overall, I think that this could be a really enjoyable job if you found a role writing in an industry that you're interested in. The 12th job on my list is a community manager, and the starting salary for this one is around $55,000 a year. Community managers are responsible for moderating and organizing audience members of a brand or organization across social media groups, Slack channels, online forums, and other communities. Typically, you'll be doing things like answering questions, moderating discussions, and adding or removing people from groups. And this is another good option if you have no experience whatsoever, since all you need is good writing skills and knowledge on social media. Okay, so moving on to the final job on my list, and that is a translator. The pay is around $21 an hour for this position. And of course, this is only a good fit for you if you speak more than one language. One translation job I found on LinkedIn was from a company called Kelly, looking to hire interpreters for a few different languages. The advertised pay is $17 an hour, plus a few benefits such as a bonus and a holiday pay plan, and you can choose to work part-time or full-time. So overall, this is quite an easy, flexible job if you're lucky enough to know more than one language. So those are all the jobs that I found for you guys today, and if you're interested in learning more about how to land your dream work-from-home position and how I personally did, then I'm thinking about making an in-depth video about how to do that. So let me know down in the comments below if you'd be interested in a video like that and if it'd even be something that's helpful for you. But thanks so much for tuning into this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.